Good morning. So I wanted to take you through part of my morning routine that I haven't really talked about yet, which is how I make my coffee. A few people ask me that. There's really nothing crazy to what I do with my coffee, honestly. But it is important to measure what goes in your coffee, and a lot of people don't do that. I just do typical half and half. I do buy the organic kind, but I have this cutesy little OXO measuring cup that I will measure out 1 tablespoon of half and half, which is plenty, honestly. And I'll do that for 2 cups, and that's a total of what, like 40 calories? So I have 2 cups of coffee every morning. I do half a scoop of collagen in each coffee, and I'm pretty much out. Now, real quick on collagen. I'm just gonna pour that in there. It's half a scoop. I don't really think it does anything, if I'm being perfectly honest. Let me crouch down here. There's just very little research to support that collagen does much of anything at all. There might be some evidence to support it benefiting, hair, skin, nails, the growth of those tissues. But as far as like your body using collagen that you've ingested to rebuild collagen tissues in your body, very little data to support that. And collagen protein, by the way, I made a post about this on Instagram about protein supplements. Collagen protein definitely doesn't do anything for muscle tissue growth. So if you're buying a protein powder, I always suggest that you get whey protein because that's the king of all protein sources. It's a complete amino acid profile. It doesn't need to be a blend of proteins. Whey comes from milk, so it being an animal byproduct, it's going to be a complete protein source. It's very high quality if you're buying a high quality protein powder. But if you're looking at protein powders like bone broth protein or collagen protein, those do not repair muscle tissue. So make sure you look at the label of your protein. But I just add this in because it tastes good, if I'm being perfectly honest. So half a scoop is enough for me, and again, I'll do that in 2 cups. But I take supplements twice a day. Let me just lay out all the supplements that I take. I'm gonna move you down here and kind of touch a little bit on each one. Here's what I take. This is a multivitamin, fish oil, vitamin D3K2 by Symbiotica. These are first form. My probiotic is VSL number 3. This has 112 billion CFUs of shelf-stable probiotics. And it needs to be refrigerated. It will come to your house on dry ice. So there will be like dry ice packs in the box, and then you just, of course, put it in your fridge. And then magnesium. So if I were to list off 5 supplements I think are the most important, it would be these. And this is my personal opinion. I'm sure some people will disagree with that, but magnesium and vitamin D, most people are almost guaranteed to be deficient in. So everybody should be taking magnesium. This is Symbiotica. This is Symbiotica. I like these because they're a liposomal delivery, and a liposome is a fat. So it's microencapsulated in this liquid fat, which makes sure that the nutrient is protected throughout the harsh environment of your digestive system, so that your body can actually absorb as much of the nutrient as possible. If you get it in a gelatin capsule, or worse, a compressed tablet, like the old school 1-a-day women's vitamins, a tablet, your body can't really break that down at all. And the gelatin capsule, which is what the rest of these supplements are in, it is the best way to deliver the nutrient, but these specifically, you really wanna make sure that they're microencapsulated in a liposome. So I take those. This is 12 pumps per day. So I will just put it on a spoon, pump it 12 times, and then put it in my mouth. I just down that. Actually doesn't taste very bad. But then fish oil, I think, is one of the most important supplements you could take, because I'm basing this list off of what is going to support overall health. Because if you want optimal metabolic health, the best thing that you can do before you're looking at like fat burners or anything that is, an add-on to help boost metabolism, we'll say, or support the increase of metabolism, you really need to focus on overall systemic health first. And fish oil covers a wide range of things that your body needs. Cognitive health, heart health, joint lubrication. I do notice a massive difference in how my body feels from a soreness standpoint whenever I'm taking fish oil consistently. So I do 2 capsules twice per day of fish oil. Also improved insulin sensitivity, which is hugely important if you have a body composition goal. That is essentially your body's ability to absorb and utilize blood glucose as a fuel source into the muscle cell. So insulin sensitivity is improved through lifestyle factors, lifting weights, eating whole healthy food, reducing processed food intake, but supplementing properly with healthy omega-3 fatty acids is really important for that. Multivitamin, just because, I mean, I'm not getting in a wide enough variety of foods, especially in prep. I eat a pretty limited list of foods. So this makes sure that I'm covering my bases of nutrients that I don't get from food. Probiotic, very, very important for gut health. Again, your gut is critical, your gut health, digestive health. Most people don't really eat fermented foods. And if you do eat fermented foods like kombucha, yogurt, sauerkraut, kimchi, these are all fermented foods. That doesn't even necessarily mean that you're getting healthy bacteria from those foods. So it's just really important to supplement additionally with the probiotic. And then digestive enzymes is kind of an extra. I don't take this every single day. I do take it if I'm having a large meal or if Mike and I like go out to dinner. It just helps ease digestion. Your body already produces digestive enzymes in your entire digestive tract, starting in your saliva. But the additional benefit of taking these can help ease digestion with foods that maybe have a tough time breaking down. Like when somebody is new to hitting a protein goal, the interesting thing is that there's different digestive enzymes for different nutrients. So for example, protease is the name of an enzyme that your body makes to break down proteins. But your body is a machine that adapts. So it only produces enough of that particular enzyme to accommodate what it's consistently getting in protein-wise. So whenever you increase your protein goal to, let's say, 1 gram per pound of optimal body weight, you might feel a little full at first, and it might be a little tough to like hit your meals because you might not really feel hungry, which part of not feeling hunger throughout the day is when you've been eating an inconsistent eating pattern. But this will help you, and then your body does acclimate and it'll start producing more protease. GDA, this is what I mentioned was like kind of an extra, but kind of really important for me. Also for insulin sensitivity, I take 3 capsules twice per day. If you've ever heard of the pharmaceutical drug metformin, it's a diabetic medication. It improves insulin sensitivity and blood glucose regulation in diabetics. But berberine is an ingredient in this that operates in a similar manner to metformin, but it's a botanical ingredient. So the ingredients in this, like Gymnema sylvester leaf extract, cinnamon extract, berberine, banaba extract, these are like botanical ingredients. So this is a healthy, natural way to manage blood glucose. So if you're insulin resistant, pre-diabetic, type 2 diabetic, of course, I can't give medical advice, but I can suggest supplements that you can even talk to your doctor about. So I would ask your doctor about supplementing with berberine or a product that has a collection of ingredients. But for somebody who has a fitness goal, you don't have to have blood sugar issues to take advantage of a glucose disposal agent product. So that's just gonna ensure that when you're eating carbohydrates, your body is using as much of those carbs as possible for energy. And then joint mobility I take because I want my joints to feel good. And posing especially, you're just cranking your body and your back in ways that can be kind of painful. And I've noticed that since I started taking this again, that pain has subsided. So this really does make a big difference in pain management and reducing inflammation of your joints. It's one of my favorites. So here is my lineup. If you want to take a screenshot, I'll also list these in the caption as well. It's Saturday. I am 4 weeks out today, and I'm about to go train my client. But yesterday, or the day before rather, I submitted my check-in to my coach, and I would say about 3 or 4 check-ins ago, he had reduced my food to 1 high carb day on Saturdays, which is my heaviest training day. That's when you certainly want to have higher carbs, is on your heaviest training day. So I do glutes and hams on Saturdays. I like doing a big muscle group on the weekend because I just have more time in the gym. You know, I can maybe get a couple meals in my system before I train, and it just makes for a better workout. So the check-in I submitted the day before yesterday, he responded yesterday, and he brought back my other high carb day for Wednesdays, which is very exciting. So while I'm doing my makeup, I will play his response back to you guys, and I'll show you my photos, because the photos were not, the lighting wasn't as good as for the comparison. Like I'll show probably like a 2-week comparison. You can tell that I am leaner. However, the lighting's not the same, which every time I take progress photos, which I suggest you do the same thing. Try to make sure you're always at the same time of day, the same lighting, because that's gonna allow you to see the difference as best as possible. So, I'll just play, he sends me audio messages, so I'll just play his feedback for you guys while I do my makeup.
Dude, yeah, you look sick. Body's behaving exactly the way we would want it to. You know, everything's going really, really well. With the amount of time we still have left, I think we're basically just going to coast in. So, really very little is going to have to change between now and then until peak week. And even then, not a ton is going to have to change, which is awesome because that's so much less stressful and so much more predictable and all of the good things. Worst case scenario is when people are like struggling to get in shape and we're just like having to force them to suffer the last 4 weeks. And in your case, it's not, you know, you're going to be hungry or whatever, but that's about it. So anyway, awesome, very awesome week, and posing's looking better. I don't know, that'll just continue to improve, and I honestly think you're going to be really undeniable up there. I'm super stoked about it. But I just texted you, so you probably already know this by the time you hear this message, but I think you bought 6 months. That is up next week. I just tried to program your high days, which are going to be Wednesdays and Saturdays now. So really the only adjustment this week is more calories, but it would only let me do that adjustment or add that adjustment until like midway through next week when the 6 months is fully up. So anyway, we could take care of that whenever. Just let me know when you're down to do that. So anyway, awesome week. Let me know if you need anything else.
All right. I don't know where my tripod is, so I'm just gonna have to make do without one. But I'm warming up. I'm starting with leg press, although my program says to start with goblet squat. I'm doing that too. But my legs just feel a little cold today, and I wanted to use a machine to warm them up. So I'll probably do some leg press, some leg extension, finish my goblet squats, and then I'll be sufficiently warmed up to really start working hard. So I only have a 45 on each side right now, and I'm just doing high rep, like 15 to 20. Making my feet a little bit more narrow now, a little bit lower on the plate just to target more quad. Okay. Whew. Already did one set, that was my second. Oof. I need to stretch my hamstrings and my glutes. Okay, yeah. I'm feeling a tightness, like right here on either side of my leg. So I didn't really do any stretching before this, which is bad. So we're gonna go over and do that real quick. Once we got a little blood in our muscles, let's go stretch. All right, a little stretching never hurt anybody. Whew. One thing I love about my gym is that it's never like cold in here. I hate a cold gym. I need my muscles to be warm when I lift. Okay, so I'm doing a 90-90 stretch. So both knees are at a 90-degree angle. Front leg is straight out in front of me, bent at 90 degrees. Same thing with back leg. I'm gonna keep my back flat and just lean over this leg. Whew. You don't wanna bend at the waist because it defeats the purpose, because what we're doing is stretching my right glute right now. So I'm just gonna hold this for like a minute or so. Okay, and then we'll switch. I did a stretch session with my chiropractor and my client yesterday. My legs are sore from that. My hamstrings are, at least. I'm doing some dynamic stretching, not like crazy static holds. This is kind of like a modified pigeon stretch, right? Because a pigeon stretch is where one leg is back out behind you and the other one is at a 90 degree, but it's very tough to get deep into this when you don't have the most flexibility in your glutes. Oh, feels good though. Maybe I will pigeon stretch this side. Pigeon stretch. Ooh, this glute's tight. Oh my gosh, this is so tight. Good thing I'm doing this. Oh my gosh, my left leg is so tight. This is why legs are not my favorite day. All right, I hate these. The body weight's really not that bad. Part of the reason I hate them is because I get ingrown toenails and my big toenail is so easy. And anytime my tip of my toe touches the turf, it hurts. The struggles of having wide toes, wide set feet. All right, that's enough for me. Barbell low squat. I used to love these. Let me get some warm-up sets with just the bar. Something's going on with my tendon on my knee. I don't know if I can do this. Every time I go down, I feel like a weird, whenever I go into full range of motion, I feel this weird feeling on the front of my kneecap, and I do not like how that feels, and it kind of makes me concerned about going under load, if I'm being perfectly honest. I don't know why it's doing that. Let me try again. Yep, it's still there. I don't like that. I'm switching to a machine, listening to my body. I am just not gonna put myself in a compromised position. Look, there's nobody here. This is amazing. I love this gym. All right, back to leg press. Whew. You're at an angle. Lee, you're gonna have to fix that. Unless it doesn't really matter. Lord have mercy. Dude, I bit my lip the other day and it made a sore right on the inside of my lip. And I have these lymph nodes that are swollen now and they're unbelievably painful. Like, why does that have to hurt? It honestly makes me feel like I'm sick. All right, 12 to 16 reps. It's gonna suck. All right, let's get it. I have 3 plates on here. Okay, this is effective reps. Oh my gosh. All right, obviously that was not failure, but I was starting to get into effective reps. Effective reps are when it, again, it's when you know you're applying enough mechanical tension with the amount of load to elicit change in the muscle. And what my coach taught me is that when you're looking at like how long it takes you to get out your reps, right? So if it takes me usually 1 second, 1 full second to push forward, it's the concentric portion of the lift, right? And the eccentric, you want to be a little bit more slow and controlled. It doesn't need to be, you know, super tempo. Recent research in strength and hypertrophy shows that tempo, so slow eccentrics, are not necessarily, that's where you're lowering the weight very slowly, not effective for hypertrophy whatsoever. It doesn't change the muscle that way. So it's not that you have to go down in like 4 full seconds, but just slow and controlled. But anyway, when the concentric starts to take you longer than 1 second to get up, like you're struggling to get it up, that's how you know you're in effective reps. And you want to get as many of those as you can in that rep range. So I'm gonna rest a little bit longer, another minute or so. I'm definitely feeling weak. Like, I wouldn't say my workouts are starting to suffer. I'm 4 weeks out again. I'm still working out. I'm just not as excited to go as I used to be. Even today, high carb day. And like last Saturday was a high carb day and I felt so much more energy. And today, I don't know what it is. I'm just dragging. My sleep this week really hasn't been great, which could be the fact that I've just been drinking a lot of stimulants throughout the day, honestly, which is kind of just what you do when you're in prep. Maybe not everybody, but I don't know, a lot of us do. But my sleep sucks, so that's part of what's making me fatigued right now. All right, making my next rep. I'll point out to you when I feel like I'm in effective reps. And I'm just gonna push to close to failure. I'm getting there. 8, 9, 10, 11, 13, 15, 16. I'm gonna get a few more. 17. Okay. Phew. That's 18 reps. I'm gonna rest 2 minutes. Oh, pretty weak right now, so usually I'd put another plate on here. This is only 3 plates, but again, I don't want to gas myself too early in this workout. After this, I have Bulgarian split squats to failure, which those are gonna hurt. Okay, that's enough. What I'm gonna do, because I'm going to failure, I'm gonna do a little drop set. I'm gonna hold 2 20s. I like to do these with the bench kind of at an angle like this so I can comfortably put my foot in the crevice. I'm gonna hold both, which is 40 pounds to start, and then as I fail, I'll go down to 1 and then down to body weight. Oh man, it's happening fast. Oh my gosh. That's it. Okay. A little rest before the next leg. It's kind of scary for me going to failure on these. Okay. Oh man, I'm getting weak. Uh-oh, it's coming for you. Okay. Okay, I can't do it. That was only 12. Okay, one more set. I got this on the mirror here. Okay. I start with my left leg because it's my weaker leg. I'm failing. That's all the gas I got, guys, even with extra carbs in my system. So I had one more exercise to do, and I just didn't have it in me. Been there for about 47 minutes, and I'm really feeling fatigued. I'm feeling kind of sick, if I'm being honest. Like, I'm getting sick, so I'll film that tomorrow for you guys, so I can just add that to the video, but just know I'll be in different clothes. But yeah, maybe I am struggling, actually. So Mike is getting a little sick, which sucks for me because then the likelihood that I get sick goes up. But he just got back from a trip, and he has like 2 more trips coming up. And I was like, hey, you need to take some time off from the gym and chill a little bit and let your body recover. Otherwise, you're just gonna make yourself sick for longer. Because so often, like, my clients will, say this to me too, that they're feeling sick, but they, went ahead and got their workout in. And I'm like, listen, I'm proud of you for the mental toughness of working through being sick, but that is not good for you. Also, if you're contagious, you just want to stay out of the gym. That's, just a common courtesy. But it compromises your immune system. If you're starting to feel sick and you're in a caloric deficit, which means you're already, lacking optimal nutrients, optimal fuel, and you're starting to feel sick, and then you start training, or you train hard on top of that, all you're doing is you're giving your body something else it needs to recover from. And you can't max out your body's ability to recover and expect that you're gonna feel okay. So you're not even really helping yourself from a muscular development standpoint if you're putting yourself in this, we'll say recovery compromised state with being sick and breaking down muscle tissue and being suboptimally fueled and likely not having the best sleep. You're just gonna stay sick for longer. Whenever you start to feel like you're almost getting the flu, and it's like anything above a head cold, right? Where your body starts to ache, your skin and your muscles just hurt. The reason that it hurts is because your body is robbing itself its own tissue it's robbing itself its own tissue of amino acids that it can use to create acute phase proteins, which are gonna fight off the infection. It's why you start to feel sore. It's just tissue breakdown. So best thing you can do when you're sick is literally sleep as much as possible. Put yourself to sleep. Sleep as long as your body will let you, because then you're taking away all functions except for fighting off the infection. And you're letting your body allocate all its resources to that instead of energy production, again, repairing muscle tissue. Anything else it needs to recover from is going to impede on its ability to get over being sick. You will shorten the time that you're sick significantly if you just sleep and try to hit your protein goals still. Stay super hydrated, electrolytes. Again, we know that our body's going to try and rob itself of amino acids and other nutrients to fight off the infection, try to keep protein intake high, so you're giving it dietary protein so it doesn't really tap into muscle. And again, this is short-lived. It's not as if you're going to be losing massive amounts of muscle while you're sick. Just understand that if you don't perfectly hit your protein goal, it's fine. However, it's just more of what habit do you form under these circumstances? Are you going to just reach for comfort food like tomato soup and Cheez-Its and crackers? Is it the worst thing in the world? No, but you're just now putting more processed food into your body that is not optimal for cellular health and cellular function and energy production. Very little nutritional value to it, so you're just not helping yourself out. Being sick sucks. You want to shortcut the time. So try and just keep protein intake high, keep taking your vitamins, electrolytes, everything like that. The other day, somebody asked me if I look at myself now and think, wow, you did it. You're so awesome. Or I'm so proud of myself. And I really thought about that question. And because there was a point in time where I would have paid any amount of money to wake up one day with the physique that I have now. That should stop it shaking so much. Somebody asked me the other day if I look at myself when I'm watching videos of myself training or in the mirror and think, wow, I can't believe that I did this. I thought about that question, and I am proud of myself. I'm proud of myself for continuing to try, because people will look at my physique now and think that I have always been fit. And granted, I did grow up not struggling with my weight. I didn't play sport at all. I mean, I played one season of soccer when I was in middle school. I don't even know if I would consider that having really played. But that's it. So I wasn't a student athlete. I didn't start getting into weightlifting until I was like 19, 20 maybe years old. And before that, I was a cardio bunny. My parents are fit. I'm just blessed with that. But my point in explaining that is I did start struggling with my weight once I got into the fitness industry, after I hired my first personal trainer when I was 21. And she gave me a meal plan, of course, because that's, you know, always been the method, is to give a meal plan. Especially because I told her that like my goal was to do a bikini competition. I didn't end up competing at that time. I forget why I didn't. I might have gotten scared. I don't know, but I was 20, 21. And the meal plan she gave me, because it was a contest prep meal plan, me at the time not really knowing that, I just thought this was like healthy food meal plan. I had no idea how it was put together, knew nothing about nutrition at this point, had taken 0 classes, courses, nothing. And so after that, after I was done working with her, I worked for about 9 months. I did not deviate from that plan one iota. I stuck to it 100%. I didn't have a single cheat meal in 9 months. And after that, when I was done with her coaching program, her personal training program, I would default to that meal plan because I didn't know what else to do. I didn't know how to go back to normal eating after that, and I just kept following the meal plan. I thought that this is just how I'm supposed to eat forever. So that kind of got in my head, and I was like, man, I really miss like some of my favorite foods. Am I ever going to get to eat those again? Like, I don't know how to do that and not gain weight. I assumed that eating certain foods that weren't on the meal plan were going to make me gain weight, or that I wasn't going to be able to continue getting lean if I ate any of those foods, which created this like, you know, environment where I hyper valued these foods to where I was thinking about them a lot. And that's what set me on this path of kind of yo-yoing, because when I would finally cave to temptation and I would go get whatever I wanted to, whether it was fast food or if it was, which is crazy because I never really liked fast food anyway. Usually it was from the grocery store and the sweets. I would get cookies and donuts and cookie cake. And what started as cheat meals turned into full board binges. And then that turned into binging and restricting. And then that worsened the binges. And then I started gaining weight and I started getting desperate. So I would really restrict and really overdo cardio. And then again, I'd mentally break and I would go off the rails on the weekends. And that would put me in this like low depressive mental state that might last for a few days, a few weeks, and then onset of a yo-yo cycle. And then I started binging and purging. Started making myself throw up because I felt so ashamed of myself. I was like, oh my God, what did I do? I'm going to get fat because I ate all of this. And I was also so uncomfortable from eating so much food that I started making myself throw up. And once you do that one time and you realize you can do that, that almost becomes like a thought in your head. It doesn't almost become a thought in your head. It does become a thought in your head like, oh, well, I could just make myself throw up afterwards. And I want this food, so I'm just gonna get it. And then when it gets really bad is when you start picking out your binge foods based on what's the easiest to throw up. I've never talked about this publicly before. I've mentioned before that I used to binge and restrict and then purge. There was a period of time where I made myself throw up. But yeah, I would get a cookie. I would tell myself that I'd want a little bit of everything. Not the whole thing, I just want a little bit of everything. So I'd get a cookie cake because I want a cookie cake. And they only sell massive cookie cakes. And I would get cronuts, the croissant donuts that were fire. And I would get some random cookies and ice cream, because I learned that if I ate ice cream with whatever I was eating, it was way easier to throw up. It didn't hurt. How morbid does that sound? There are people out there who do this. I know I'm not the only one who's done this before. Now, fortunately, I did get out of that. And there were periods of time where it was bad, and there were periods of time where it would kind of go away. Once I got into a relationship with my ex years ago, we broke up in like 21, but 5 years before that. 2016, I guess. It kind of just went away because you can't binge and purge when you live with somebody. Also, he didn't really have very healthy habits either. So that kind of perpetuated the food thing. And it was really hard. It's so hard whenever you're trying to be healthy and lose weight and get fit when your spouse or your partner doesn't, or they don't care, just has no interest in working out, no interest in eating healthy. There'd be periods of time where he would, meal prep, and it'd be like this elaborate thing, which is why he couldn't sustain it because he made it way too big of a deal. But anyway, I didn't binge and purge throughout that relationship. And then after we broke up, it kind of came back while I was single before I met my now husband, Mike. But again, I think that just the practice of understanding calories, understanding like macronutrient fluctuations, and like whenever I'm not actively working towards a goal and I'm just living my life and like my goal is to maintain where I'm at, it's quite easy to maintain if you have a healthy foundation built. And I also understand that if I have a day where I eat something that's like a restaurant meal, dessert, whatever, and I know I go over my calories, I can just offset it the next day by reducing my carbs and fats. And it's not punishment. I'm not like starving myself out of shame. It's just strategy. Like, okay, well, instead of looking at a 24-hour calorie goal, let me look at a 48-hour calorie goal and just average these calories out. So I might track it, or I might just remove carbs and some fats from a couple of my meals. So knowing that, that's what helps prevent the whole binge restrict cycle. One, I just understand how to fuel myself. I know where my calorie goals are, where they should be, whether I'm cutting, whether I'm maintaining. So I've just have the experience that I've gained that helps me live in that. But I also, again, I know how to navigate little hurdles so they don't send me sideways, and I don't have shame around food anymore. Every single thing I eat is intentional. There was a period of time where I would be a victim to my own lack of self-control, and I would just cave and give in, and I would consider what I was doing then not to be intentional. It was like, oh gosh, I'm just gonna give in. Now it's like, if I want cake, if I want something sweet, it's intentional. I intend on eating it, so I don't have shame and guilt surrounding it because I meant to do that, and I, accommodate it. Have a really hard training session that day, lower my calories the day after, or whatever I have to do to accommodate it. I just know the strategies of how to do that. That's what I teach my clients, which is what keeps me out of the binge restrict cycle. So anyway, I wanted to explain all that so you guys who are following along with this journey understand, what my past is and how different my approach is now than what it used to be. Because I think what I used to do is so pervasive among women. So many women come to me that are like, I just can't break this all or nothing mindset. I'm all on or I'm all off. I will restrict and then binge. And I'm like, yeah, boo, I've been through it. I know how that feels. And it just takes guidance and understanding what a proper deficit looks like and how to make better food choices, how to work in, the off-plan foods, so to speak, and just so you can have a more relaxed mindset about it. People make it such a huge deal because it is a big deal when it's an emotional process. It's emotional. You're so sick of being overweight. You're so sick of not understanding why you can't figure it out, why this is so hard for you. Like, why is this so hard for me? Why can't I figure this out? Why does it seem so easy for other women? Listen, back to the original thing I started talking about. Am I proud of myself? Do I look at myself now and think, wow, you did it? Yes, I am proud of it from a lifestyle standpoint. And I'm proud of it from a physical standpoint. But the funny thing is, what made me really ponder that is that I don't actively have thoughts about like, wow, you look crazy, Paula. Like, you look amazing. I'm so proud of you. Because it's just kind of like my norm now that I've built this muscle, that I have, I stay relatively lean. And I'm extremely lean right now. I'm an unrealistic level of lean for the average person. I'll talk about that in another clip. But yeah, I'm proud of myself. It's what I do now though. So I guess I just don't really think about it like that. Whereas again, before, when I struggled with this, all or nothing mindset, binge restrict cycle, I would have paid any amount of money to wake up and look the way that I do right now. But gosh dang it, I stuck with it. I did not give up. Every single time I fell into a depressive state, every single time I caved and binged, every single failure I had was just a lesson that I learned about myself and a problem to solve. They're simply problems that have solutions. You just have to continue to seek the solution. And sometimes that takes trial and error. and trial and error might make you feel like you're failing, but there's not always going to be a one size fits all approach. It's going to be a little bit different for you. And as long as you just keep trying and you keep putting in an effort, it's impossible to not improve when you just commit to continuing to try. Just know that there's going to be imperfections. Know that there's going to be days where your mood is just not there. But just keep putting one foot in front of the other, man. That's all I can tell you. It's really worth it. Yet again, I just wanted to thank you guys for watching my YouTube videos. This is new to me, and I'm really enjoying the process of recording this stuff for you in like longer form content. I'm soon to be releasing a podcast as well. I'll be posting to YouTube. It's going to be called The Tough Love Club. Everyone says they like tough love. Part of the reason they follow me. So if you like this type of content, you want to see more of it, make sure you click like, subscribe, turn on post notifications so you'll always know whenever I post a new video, especially when my podcast comes out.